It might actually be kind of fun to go to the next level. And I'm saying this as we're live recording, but you have been playing guitar now at a level where I think together we could put a new intro together. If we can make it happen, that's the next level for us.
Always say yes.
Start with the jingle. The jingle that maybe could turn into a song. A couple guitar parts, and we even throw in some words into this one.
17 seconds.
Oh, we can handle that.
17 seconds.
17 seconds. Hey, welcome back to the podcast. On today's episode, we're going to get tired. We're all going to get tired because we are going to jump to some conclusions. We might not think we are.
Just these guys today.
We are, yeah. Jumping to conclusions.
We got Pastor Mike on the mic.
We got Dr. Parker in the house. Chapter 5 of the book, Anger Management, Transforming Anger into Advantage. Yeah. Boom. Anger into advantage. We're rolling right along now. We're over halfway through after today. Anger management. I've had some folks who have read the book and they would, in my mind, be highly uncommon candidates to even read the book, and they have read the book and they love it.
Oh, great.
They absolutely love it. I just want to make sure that you know that this book is changing some minds. It's changing some lives. It's really good. That's
fantastic. Last night I stumbled across the website, Goodreads. Mm-hmm. Apparently you can buy books and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Found my book on there, the original one, 12-2, How to Transform Your Mind. There are reviews there. So positive reviews there. It's all 5 stars.
Nice.
Somebody wrote something really nice.
Oh, cool.
So I'm glad it's helping.
Yeah, that's got to make you feel good because that's a lot of hard work. And you even did the audio version of that one.
Sure.
Of the first one, and that's really hard to do. I mean, try if you're
much harder than you ever.
Yeah, if you're out there, just try reading a few paragraphs out loud with the proper cadence, with no, hiccups, no burps, no, whatever, everything that can happen. It feels like,
and your mind not wandering to other things, skipping words,
or just mispronouncing something. Yeah, missing a breath.
Yeah, it's an extreme challenge to actually read something.
Yeah.
So props to all the people who do voiceovers and stuff.
Oh man,
that was an extremely difficult challenge.
Yeah, big time. Big time. So jumping to conclusions.
And before we jump to a conclusion, a couple of shout outs.
Yeah.
Eric of Jericho Carpeting. He's a listener to the podcast.
Flooring,
Jericho
yes.
Flooring.
Way more than just carpet.
Yeah. He does. He's got a fantastic showroom where you can actually go in and see how this stuff is going to look, not just look at a little swatch and take a kind of a mental guess.
Exactly. You can lay down on it, roll in it. You can really feel what it's going to be like.
We'll put a link to his website in the description below so you can follow up with him. But he created, he got with Gino, our merchandise guy of Wichita Screen Printing, and he made us jerseys with the logo and the church logo on it. And on the back,
yeah, celebrating the 100th episode of Just These Guys You Know.
Now, I got black and gold for obvious reasons. Mike got red and yellow for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And so...
what do you think?
Right here?
Yeah.
Good lighting?
Is that cool with you? Oh, are we already recording?
We could do like a staggered, and you'll make it black and white, like the album cover.
You're going to edit this, right? Hold on. Nope. It's rolling in right now. All right,
what do we get?
Here's the deal. I wanted to do something special for you guys. I want to thank you personally for all the help you've given me.
You're very welcome.
And also, you've been an amazing friend, incredible pastor. You're a rock star, dude. And I really appreciate both you guys a lot.
Thank you.
So that's for you. That's for you. And After you open them, I'll tell you what they're for.
Okay.
It's gonna open real easy. So this will just pop.
Aha. Here we go.
That box back.
Hey!
Oh!
Show the boxes.
What in the...
Hey, that's really cool.
We have a jersey.
So those are to commemorate podcast number 100.
Oh, that's
Oh,
excellent.
nice.
That is excellent.
That is cool. 100.
Number 100.
All right, we're
You
gonna
guys
wear
can
them
shadow
on
box
air.
them, wear them, do whatever you want, but I just thought you might have a little keepsake. So
Awesome. Thanks, man.
thank you.
I will be wearing this.
That's really cool. Give me a
Every
hug.
night.
It's in the right colors, right?
Yes. Black and gold. Thank you so much, sir.
Appreciate you guys.
You're an amazing man.
Awesome.
You guys are amazing men. So
Thank you.
glad to have you guys in my life. Appreciate both of you.
Cool.
We want to thank everybody for watching today and thank Eric here for this awesome gift commemorating our 100th podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you again, Eric.
You're welcome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
One other, I have discovered my new home away from home.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know. That's why I said, have you set your alarm?
I
Literally, for the minute this thing opens back up, a little place called Cottage CRUMBS.
Cottage Crumbs. It's probably about 8631 West Central behind the Yellow Interest Bank. It is a bakery with all gluten-free items.
Not just your ordinary gluten-free either.
No, I was shocked.
Better than gluten-filled stuff.
Better than regular stuff. The cakes were moist and crumbly and melt in your mouth. I had their breakfast pizza, and oh my God, the dough was so soft and steamy, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just excellent. And
Yeah, I had the same thing.
I went in, I said, I want one of everything. And Tish and I sampled them all. Their cookies are fantastic.
Yeah.
I drove back up there. It was a Friday at 5:00, going to order us some pizzas.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I learned their hours.
I did the same thing.
Did you?
I went there on Saturday, too late. So I was probably there right before you.
Thursday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So set your alarm, run over there at lunchtime if you got to, order you some, get some stuff, buy some stuff. You can order too if you want, but they have a lot of great selections on there, and that'd be a great place for a lunch meeting or something.
A great place.
Yeah.
It's really a comfortable atmosphere, very cozy, very homey. And the stuff is just so good. Do you know, I was reading a little article that actually Eric sent, and the lady, I don't actually have her name, but that does this, that bakes all of this, she has 10 kids.
Whoa.
She has raised and is raising 10 kids who, at least some of them, have had food allergies. And so over the years, she has worked on and I'm telling you, perfected the whole gluten-free world.
They got a website. You can check it out. I'll put a link in the description. They also have a Facebook page. But more importantly, drive over there.
Yep.
Walk in the door.
Yep.
Say, just these guys, sent you. And I guarantee you will not get a discount.
You will experience, it's so worth it.
They'll be like, what?
You will experience a little bit of sunshine.
Yeah.
A young lady named Sunshine behind the counter, at least when we went,
Sure.
right? And just great people, great product of baking goodness.
Now, chapter 5.
Chapter 5.
People say we talk too much.
Well, it's our show. Chapter 5. So my whole thought behind this is, what if we don't stop saying what if? You want to do a review first?
Sure. Introduction of anger management, transform anger into advantage. In the introduction, we learned about how anger is a good thing, not to be suppressed or shut down. In chapter 1, we learned that anger has a purpose. It is a problem-solving tool. In chapter 2, we learned the anger model we're going to start working in, as opposed to the kind of worldly model where we think of as anger, but there's actually a complex 7-step model here that we're learning. In chapter 3, we learned boundaries, the importance of boundaries, and in 12.2 parlance, fundamental number 1, the difference between what I don't control and what I do control. Really important to identify, because if we're going to use this problem-solving tool to help us out, we need to direct this energy, focus and energy on the things we have power over. And so we're learning to focus the energy on what we control. Chapter 4, we start really getting into this model, and we're breaking down the perception, which is where everything begins. They're doing stuff. The first thing that happens is I perceive it as being directed at me. Then I have a primary emotional reaction. I decide if this is right or fair, and then anger may or may not come. So at the perceptual level, we learned last week about the importance of catching perceptions, which are like sunglasses. Should statements, because they lead to frustration and anger or nothing, give away our control and cause us to build resentments. Today, chapter 5, we're going to check out a second perceptual process called jumping to conclusions. Have you heard of this concept before?
I have not only heard of it, I'm exhausted from it because I spend a lot of time jumping to conclusions, creating scenarios that are only in my head.
Exactly.
That so often don't end up anywhere close to reality. That's the whole idea here.
So you engage in fantasy, role play.
Life is just a fantasy.
Whoa.
Can you live this fantasy life? Yeah.
Back from commercial.
That's the jingle. That's the new jingle.
Well, jumping to conclusions is part of a bigger kind of perceptual process that we engage in. And that, you want to read more about it in depth, go get 12.2, How to Transform by the Renewing of Your Mind. But the element of fundamental number 3 in 12.2 that this book is trying to focus us on is the jumping to conclusion element of it. Because there's 2 levels. There's worry, and so what if, and then we take that worry and then we assume it to be fact. Wow, your microphone cut out.
Actually, my lips moved, but nothing came out.
Oh. I thought we had a technical error here.
No.
Mike's mouth's moving, but I hear nothing. Hello.
I'm like a
llama over there.
Old Asian movie. I'm gonna have to dub in. I love the example though that you have in there of and it was a real life scenario of the job interview.
I don't remember my own example.
You don't?
No.
A gentleman came in and he was all bummed out.
Yeah.
Because he had an interview at a place, Bullet Shopping or something like that. And he was bummed out because he was interviewing for a manager's job instead of an assistant manager's job. So they're just going to use him. Right.
He had applied for the assistant manager, but they called him in for the manager's position. So he jumped to these conclusions that they were using him as a patsy so they could say he wasn't qualified. That would allow them to then freely hire their best friend and promote him up through the ranks for a nice, wonderful career while they just, wow, I just wanted to swear right there.
Yeah. It made you mad.
Where they were just using him.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
Yeah.
And so he's sitting in my office telling me all of this, and you can see he's literally angry and bummed out about the whole thing, and he's talking about how he's going to either maybe not go to the interview, or if he does go, he's going to tell him a piece of his mind. And I said, when was the interview? He's like, tomorrow. I'm like, oh crap. I can't, there's no time for therapy.
Right.
So what's really important to note here is, can you predict the future?
Nope.
Can you read other people's minds?
Nope.
So you're fantasizing. You're living in a fantasy world. You're making this stuff up. You are intentionally shunning reality. This we call insanity. Somebody who ignores reality and lives in their fantasy world, we call crazy, and we want to lock them up. We want to give them medications. But people do this all day long. They jump to conclusions. They presume to know what you're thinking or why you did something. They predict how this is going to go. And then they'll readily admit they can't predict the future. Mm-hmm. But you just predicted the future. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, or he did this because. And can you read people's minds? No. Well, you just did. We can't read people's minds. We can't predict the future. And what we do is we create this fantasy in our mind that we then begin to respond to as if it's reality. And we're making ourselves crazy. And so this guy was on the verge of, being very hateful during this job interview if he went. And so I gave him a new twist on the fantasy.
Yep.
I said
this could totally change job interviews for everybody listening.
I asked him, you really didn't want the job at Bullet Stop, did you? You wanted the other big box store job. He said, yeah, they got better benefits. I'm like, okay, well. And now I'm just playing the field. Oh, okay, well, you're not going to get this job at Bullet Stop. So that sucks. Hey, I got an idea. What? Well, you didn't actually want to work there. You're not going to get the job anyway. So why don't you use them instead of letting them use you? He's like, how do I do that? When was the last job interview you were on? 6-7 years ago? Huh? Why don't you go in there and use this as a dry run for the job you really want? When's the last, you got to get your resume together. You got to get out of the house without spilling cereal on your tie. They're going to ask you dumb questions. You're going to be tempted to give dumb answers. And they're going to, so just use this to get it all out of your system. Practice. He said, that's a good idea, Doc. Came in the next week. How you doing? I got the job. And he was so shocked.
Yeah.
What? How did that happen? He goes, I don't know. I didn't care. I was flirting with the receptionist, trying to get her phone number. And when he called me in for an interview, he's asking me those dumb questions. So I gave him a bunch of dumb answers right back at him. I had them laughing so hard, they were crying. And then a big emergency came up, and I followed around to see what they're doing. And I said, hey, guys, this is no emergency. Just do this, that, and the other. There you go. You got your centerpiece, and Bob's your uncle. And they turned to me and said, you're hired on the spot. How would he have performed if I let him walk in there with that original mentality? And would he have gotten the job? Most likely not.
Right.
If he had gone in with that sullen, angry, bitter attitude, predicting that they were just using him, predicting that he's not going to get this job, there's no chance in the world, he would have gone in and performed very poorly. And then they would have said, yeah, don't call us, we'll call you.
Yeah.
And he would have come back to my office and said, see, I told you so. And the reality is you can't predict the future. You can't read other people's minds. So when it comes to dealing with anger, we do a lot. We're getting angry at people over what we perceive to be their motives. And that's fantasy. Mm. Oh, they only said that because. Mm. How many times have you looked at a text message and inferred a tone into the text message? Well, they just said, thank you. What? There's no emojis, no exclamation points. They're like, meh, thank you.
Thanks.
Oh my goodness. They're imagining this tone. They're imagining the attitude. They're imagining what the other person is thinking and how they sent it. It's a fantasy. Mm-hmm. We're jumping to conclusions. Slow your roll.
I've got a coworker who's really bothered when I will respond with okay. I just okay. And so just to help our relationship out, I have changed it, and now it's just K. But we read into that.
That's passive aggressive.
Yeah. I mean, I could be driving, so I don't want to send a long text.
Yeah.
But yeah, we do that. We absolutely do that. Now, help us with the whole idea behind the kind of the self-fulfilling prophecy that fits into this.
Well, and that's what we were just talking about with the job interview. If I predict I'm not going to get the job, I invariably set things up in such a way that I don't get the job.
Exactly.
If I predict, if I'm jumping to the conclusion that when I get home, my wife's going to be in a bad mood, when I walk in the door, there's going to be, vibes coming off of me. There's going to be a tone in my voice, a look in my eyes. There's going to be something going on. When I walk in the door hesitant and, on the defense, she's going to look at me and go, "What's wrong with you?" And now I'm going to snap. "See, I knew you'd be in a bad mood when I got home." When we jump to conclusions, whatever we worry about, we invariably create.
Right.
If you go on stage and you've concluded that you have a horrible sermon that you just threw together at the last minute and the audience isn't going to like it,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to walk up on that stage with lackluster energy, not be able to drive home certain points, and the audience is going to respond. And you're going to say, "Hey, I know I blew it today. I knew it before I got on stage." And yes, because you knew it before you got on stage, that's what occurred.
Mm-hmm.
So jumping to conclusions creates a lot of anger and frustration within us that is a fantasy. And then we invariably create the dynamics to create the situation that we're predicting or concluding is reality. And the fact is we're not.
Jumping to conclusions oftentimes does start with that 2-word thought, "what if?"
Sure.
Yeah. So then we start to create all the scenarios. And they're usually, because our default, until we get this figured out, our default for, I'd say maybe 99%, which might be a low percentage, 99% of us, 99% of us, we are going to create a negative scenario.
Exactly.
Or it wouldn't be "what if?"
Right.
And so we create a negative scenario or 2 or 3, and then we walk into it. And how can we start to combat that?
You make a subtle shift, and this is an argument you have to have in your own brain.
Mm-hmm.
Can you predict the future? No. Can you read their minds? No. So these are not facts. But you're a smart guy. So are they possibilities?
They are possibilities.
Is it possible they meant it this way? Is it possible this is what's going to happen when I get there?
It could be.
So now you rephrase. It's a simple rephrasing of the sentence. And it's not about semantics, but it's about actually changing your thought process.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say either "what if they think this," or if I just jump to that conclusion and say, "Oh, they do think this,"
Mm-hmm.
both of those are fantasies that are going to lead me down a negative path.
Yeah. So you change your thought process, which, by the way, just in case you're questioning, you do control.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the first boom reality that we can grab a hold of. It is fundamental number 1 in the 12-2 book, and it has so much impact on this anger issue. I control what I think.
Yes. I control what I think. I control how I perceive the situation. And if I'm jumping to conclusions or predicting negative events, those are thoughts
Mm-hmm.
that I am then going to emotionally respond to. So to change that, you rewrite that sentence you just said, and you begin it with these words. I am concerned that.
Mm-hmm.
I am concerned they may think I'm a punk. I am concerned when I walk in the door, they will be in a bad mood. That "I am concerned" statement acknowledges this is a possible future.
Mm-hmm.
And by the very definition of the word possible, it means one potential outcome out of many. So it is a possibility, not a reality. Now that we know it is a possibility, what can you do today about a possible future that has not yet occurred?
Make a plan.
If I get in there and they are in a bad mood, here's what I will do. Here's how I will handle it. If I find out that this was their motivation, this is what I'll do. This is how I'll handle it. I can now be powerful because there may be negative events that arise, so I can plan for those events. So if and when they do occur, I'm prepared to deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple.
It takes it from being in your face with the what if, which is a worry, and it puts it at arm's length, which is what you say in the book, so that it can be a concern, and it's way less stressful. It's way less in your face. And now it's something that, it's a possibility, but I've got a plan.
Yeah. And as we go through the rest of this model, this energy and focus that is anger, we're now beginning to apply it. Because I don't know why you did what you did. So how do I use my anger? How do I use my energy and focus as I step back from the situation that I don't control, and I ponder the possibilities of where this may have been coming from. And for each of those possibilities, I can prepare my response. Well, if I find out Mike did it because of this, then here's how I will respond. If I find out he did it because of that, then I'll respond differently. But if I find out that he did it because of these reasons, well, then maybe I don't respond at all.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm armed with a bunch of weapons so that when I approach the scenario and I start learning what actual reality is, I'm ready to deal with those moments.
Yep. In control.
In control.
Of it.
Calmly.
Instead of it.
Affirmatively.
In control of you. Boom. Good stuff, Doc. Good stuff. That's what I think.
Thank you guys for tuning in today.
Yes, anger management, transform anger into advantage. Next week, chapter 6. It's going to be good stuff. Keep reading. Go out there, click on the subscribe, like, and share.
If you're still listening, hit the subscribe and share button.
Do us that 150 and have an awesome week.
See ya.
See ya. We might need 30 seconds.